The launch of Hogwarts Legacy has been a controversial one, to say the least. Ever since the inception of the announcement, the debate was already dominating online spaces, discussing whether or not it would be problematic to partake in an IP created by an individual that many consider deeply transphobic. To fully understand the current line of discourse, we need to take a step back and review precisely how this once beloved IP became the catalyst for the deeply divided online conversation. In recent years, the mastermind behind the original IP, J.K. Rowling, has found herself in the middle of a fierce social debate regarding transgender women and their place in society. Considering herself a feminist and champion of women's rights, Rowling has been at the forefront of the conversation, arguing against the idea that trans women should be afforded the same rights as cis women. In defense of her takes against the transgender community, Rowling has pushed back against the notion that she is anti-trans and stated that she is simply pro-women. Detractors and activists have pushed back against the notion that J.K. Rowling is simply pro-women by arguing that trans women are women, and therefore her takes regarding the community are still riddled with hate. Despite all of this, Rowling still has a sizable audience agreeing with her takes. Harry Potter remains one of the biggest franchises in history, and there can be no debate regarding the popularity of the IP. All of this brings us to Hogwarts Legacy and the immediate debate in the aftermath. The transgender community and activists supporting them have been adamant that anyone supporting this IP is hurting the community by supporting something that is connected to a person that denies groups of people their right to exist. Although futile in their mission, the boycott attempt against this game has been quite aggressive. Activists have slammed anyone connected to the title and went out of their way to make their voices heard against anyone daring to play the game. Review bombing, death threats, and rigorous harassment are but a few ways in which those daring to commit the ultimate sin have been punished. Defenders of the IP and those against the boycott have pushed back against some of the discourse regarding the protest of the title, stating that they are only doing so in order to garner attention for themselves online. The people angry on Twitter also make use of a social media platform owned by a person who has the same views as Rowling. Those protesting the game online would not dare make their voice heard in person at Universal Studios, where J.K. Rowling actually gets a much larger share in the profits when people visit the Harry Potter theme park. This will take actual effort, and we all know how Twitter activists feel about that. I have expressed my views regarding this boycott on numerous occasions. Although some might have merits to them, not playing Hogwarts Legacy will not do anything to prevent hate against the transgender community. Gathering the masses and standing up for your right to exist is important. Unfortunately, your battle with a video game won't get you any closer to achieving that goal. The response from the media in particular has been very interesting to monitor. Currently, there is a trend within the video game space where reviewers think it is appropriate for them to inform us about their social and political standings while reviewing a brand new title. How you vote or what social issue you believe in is irrelevant while reviewing The Witcher 3. It would be highly inappropriate for me to list 5 reasons why you should buy GTA 5 during a panel discussing assault, so why do you think it is appropriate to inform me about your political leanings during a video game segment? Narcissism and ego play a massive part in today's online discourse, and that is the only logical conclusion I can draw as to why so many feel emboldened to slip their personal beliefs into a game review that has nothing to do with them. When the audience watches a review, they are there for the game, and many cannot come to terms with the idea that those watching are not there for them. A 1 out of 10 star review from Wired has been making the rounds recently. Within this review, and I am using that term very loosely here, the reviewer discusses the game and gives a rating that many would consider extremely unfavorable. The issue with the review is not the fact that Wired did not enjoy playing the game. We all know enjoyment is subjective, and thus you are free to express your opinion. This review, however, forms part of a much larger trend within the video game space. Call me old-fashioned, but I am of the belief that a reviewer has the responsibility to fairly and unbiasedly highlight all of the strong points and weak points within the title in order for the listener or reader to make an informed decision about whether they would be interested in picking up the game. The mentioned reviewer from the Wired article makes no mention or reference to the actual game and spends almost no time discussing how they reached their conclusion, scoring the title a 1. The majority of the article is spent talking about J.K. Rowling, who had no creative control over this game. They proceed to expand on the issue of transphobia and make the strange connection between goblins and Jewish people that never existed. This is but one example of a reviewer thinking it is appropriate to inform us about their personal identity politics while masking it under the guise of a review. Using the internet to express yourself and state your personal opinions about a subject, including video games, is definitely no crime. I express my opinion about a wide range of topics all the time. However, there is a certain level of responsibility you carry when reviewing a video game. In today's overly political online space, many outlets fall short of upholding that duty to the fans. Despite all the backlash, Hogwarts Legacy continues to thrive. Most have decided to ignore the screaming voices and instead chose to spend their time enjoying the wizarding world. The game has received rave reviews from all across the internet, scoring a 9 out of 10 on most platforms. Sales were through the roof even before the official launch, and at the time of writing, millions of copies have already shipped. They are on course to sell 10 million copies within the first week, as almost 1 million current players are enjoying the title simultaneously on Steam right now. The bulk of the sales might be coming from PlayStation, but overall Hogwarts Legacy has been a smash hit everywhere. Boycotts almost never work, and bullying people into activism is always a bad idea. The biggest takeaway out of this whole controversy is to leave others alone to enjoy whatever they like.